Hey guys, this is Grant Coombs III, aka Balbomb, coming to you for another video from CardRunners.com. I'm actually going to be reviewing our Markuis, our CR Heads Up Pro Specialist play at 6 max. So let's get right into the video. We end up 3-betting queens here. And in this situation, I'm not a huge fan of this. We haven't tangled with this player whatsoever, unless he was playing for quite a while without recording, which I don't think he probably was. And we do get a snap fold here, but I actually prefer to see, I would have preferred a 3-bet with ace king in the big blind versus the under the gun on table 4 and turn that into a squeeze where the button also called. I think that would actually be if I had to rank which play I like better, I think I actually like that play much more than I like the 3-bet with queens in that situation. Certainly if you have a lot of hands on the player and you have some good HUD stats, or you have some history already in the session with him, I understand. I would definitely like the 3-bet. It's perfectly fine. And certainly when you break down the math, it's probably not going to be bad at all, assuming that he gets in, jacks and ace king, which I think is probably the standard for most players at most 100NL games. But at the same time, I still think that even though that's going to be a slightly plus EV play, which is 3-betting queens, I think it's probably going to be much more plus EV just to call in position and win a decent sized pot in that fashion. Yeah, that was sort of interesting. I'm rethinking this. In my notes, I immediately said on table 2 here, where we check back 2 streets and he bets the river with a 6. In my notes, I said that I thought that he probably would be called by better pocket pairs. I'm trying to think how I feel about that now. I think his c-bet, I think his river bet's fine. I think yeah, I don't know if the shorter stack, what he does with his 3-betting range with like 10s, 9s, and jacks. I think his bet's fine. I think it's good. I will rescind that from what I wrote in my notes. I do think that's close. And against a good player, I think there's very little reason to bet the 6 there, though. There's going to be far more situations where Markuis is going, because he is such a good heads-up player, he's going to be able to use his thin value to his great advantage. So in those situations, I just don't think that he needs to be value betting super thin in that spot, but at the same time, it's against a weaker player, so I totally understand it, and I like it. We have pocket 9s here in the small blind. Unfortunately, the flop went check, check. On the turn, we make a pretty standard $5 into $7 bet there. Against a good, tricky player, I think you can do a couple different things. I think you can bet half pot. I think you can bet overbet the turn, which actually I bet a lot of heads-up players are quite familiar with that. One of my friends who's a really successful heads-up player, plays quite high, and has been a winner for a really long time. Whenever he watches 6 max, he was always sort of amazed that he would see the same pattern over and over again, that it would go check, check on the flop, and he was always shocked that the small blind or the guy out of position wasn't punishing the check back on the turn. It's like, why are people not overbetting the turn here all the time with an incredible amount of their range? So his argument would be if he had any gutter, certainly a flush draw, or worse than a queen, he would probably be overbetting that whole range, as well as having like 5x and particularly our hand right here. I think he would do that, and like any big hand he would do it with as well. And what that accomplishes is it makes people incredibly uncomfortable to play against you. And I think it makes them over c-bet, which then makes, when you call the flop, they shut down a lot of the times on the turn. So again, like I say in all my videos, being really difficult to play against is it's a great thing in no limit poker. At the same time though, I think that I would probably combine some strategy of my, crazy heads up friend with some of my own. So wouldn't mind overbetting here in certain situations. I'd probably stick to overbetting something like King Jack and bad clubs, like 6-7 of clubs, 6-8 of clubs, 7-8 of clubs would probably be the hands I'd really want to be overbetting there.